Anyway,
Of course.
cool. Let's start here. So, Riley, it's good to see you
Pleasure.
again, my man. It's good to
Of
see you
course,
again.
man.
today
It's
we are
always
here.
good to see you.
Today we are here to share your story because there was a lot of interesting things going through our own journey since the moment when we first spoke, and then
Yeah.
when you came over, and then you did like a massive transformation in 5 days
Yeah.
only. And I think it deserves to. The audience to see and to notice what's possible and what's not possible and what we've done, and share some tricks and share some things around. So, I want to officially welcome you here in my little office
Yeah.
where we share and spill the secrets out. So, yeah, Riley, start with introducing yourself, my man, and
For
let's
sure.
let's take it from there.
Awesome. So no, pleasure to be here, Bogdan, and share some of my story and obviously what we've been through together the last month or so. I'd say it's been. But for those who don't know me, I'm Rayleigh. So I do a few different things in the online space. We run a client acquisition agency. We put on events for salespeople. We do a few other little goodies, recruitment and what have you. But I came to Bogdan earlier last month because, again, I'm somebody who likes to think I have my shit together, Bogdan, and do lots of that inner work and uncover the layers. But I realized very quickly that at a subconscious level, there was some things that were certainly there, as we found out, that were directing me in a way in which I didn't feel like was serving me for what I really want.
Yeah.
So I came to the professional in Bogdan, and that's sort of how we met.
So tell me, what was happening in that moment? Like, what were those certain things?
Yeah.
What was happening in your life, in your business, especially, and everything? What were kind of the symptoms that were showing up for you?
Yeah. I noticed a lot of procrastination is one. Procrastination in terms of like we'd have a task to get through, a very difficult task, and it would seem that no matter how hard I would look to figure it out, I'd always end up drifting into like a completely different task. So I noticed that I was avoidance of the hard things,
Okay.
which was something I knew. Hey, I need to actually be able to tackle this. Another key insight was the creative thinking. It wasn't very accessible to me, so I wasn't able to tap
In
into
what
that
way?
creative. It was almost like when I would try and think of a new idea, it just it was not flowing to me. It wouldn't
Okay.
come. I couldn't easily tap into that source, that playful, as we know, that playful childlike. Oh, just try this and learning, and it was very rigid. I'd have to force ideas out there, and oftentimes that would just cause me to loop and loop and loop and end up doing the same cycle over and over and over again.
Yeah. And how was that affecting your day to day? How was that affecting the business itself?
Oh, the business itself, it almost became to a point where it's like this is so it's not even enjoyable to do. Like, sure, we make some money, but if you are literally not enjoying what you're doing on a daily basis, what's the point? Like, it's much more important to not only make money, but to make money for the right reasons and enjoy your life while you're doing it.
Yeah.
So that's what it sort of came to, where it's like, why am I even doing this? It just felt painful
Yeah.
over and over again.
Yeah, man. It is painful. It is an emotional pain, right?
Hmm.
It happens there. And okay, you started noticing those patterns. You started noticing those, let's call it the symptoms throughout your life. Was that affecting your personal life as well?
Personal life, definitely, because you become so. I'm sure a lot of people would relate to this for sure. When you're so focused on one thing, which might be the business is we need to fix the business, we need to put more time into the business, we need to get past this and get this, and you're so narrowly focused that everything else will go to shit. So, for example, I stopped training barely anything at all. Would spend less time with my friends and family because I'm just so focused on the business, and even like relationships with people within the business. when you have animosity and because you're like, oh, we're not enjoying what we're doing, it just becomes I become a person who'd be very unpleasant to be around for sure.
Okay, cool. And then you came on board. So
Yeah.
give me a short explanation. We went through, intense, let's say 5 days. That was 5 days, 3 hours each day by day. And we tackled absolutely everything from all the root causes first to,
Yeah.
become aware and then after to deal with those things. Can you describe your journey? How it was in your own words, obviously,
Yeah.
because I don't want to put words in your mind or in your mouth and anything else.
Yeah.
How would you describe the journey from day one, day two, day three, day four, day five?
Yeah, it's very interesting because I remember when we first spoke on that call and you said to me, look, we'll do it over a 1 week period and it's going to be like a rapid transformation. Like you'll almost be shocked at how fast. And me sitting there on the other side pre-transformation, I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to handle that amount of change. I was very like apprehensive at the 1 week, right? And then just to give a quick snapshot, and then I'll break it down day by day. But by the end, I was like, I can't believe how easy this is. Like, why have I not done this sooner? That was like the pure uh, thought in my mind. So on the first day, that was definitely it's crazy because it was almost like the highest value for me personally because I just spoke to other people and they've got value in different parts as well because it's different for everybody. But for me personally, the first day where we went back and we rerouted all of the patterns of thinking and where it truly came from, that changed a lot for me because
Yeah,
I was almost flabbergasted that I had patterns of thinking and belief systems that we had that were irrational and completely self destructive. And I was literally operating from that on a daily basis, which is crazy. And then from there, uh, by day two, I'd already felt much more. I felt more at peace, but I still knew there was work to do. I was like, okay,
yeah,
we're only just getting started. Day two rolls around. I think that's like we were going very much into the education aspect. So understanding why we're doing things the way we're doing them. And by day three to day four, where we're doing the last little bits of um, cleaning out the nervous system and then putting the new patterns in, by day five, mate, it was like a completely different person. Much more calm, much more secure. It's been a while now since this 1 week. So thinking about it now, like removed a little bit from the situation, I feel like on a daily basis, I'm much more closer to my baseline. So I won't deviate too high and I won't deviate too low like I used to. I'm
yeah.
much more operating from peace. I know everything's good. I know everything's fine because I've got my own back at the end of the day. And as we know, you are all that you need ultimately. And
Yeah.
once you have that, you operate. Everything else is a gift thereafter, right? So I feel much more at that baseline level, and I'm much more grateful for the things I do have, whilst
Is
being
there?
able to chase more out of a feeling of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, besides the first day, and you're very right. Usually, on that first day, is building a strong awareness, right? And
Mm.
just becoming aware of some of those patterns, people get that aha moments that when you become aware, you can actually get rid of it because previously you didn't know that that's happening.
That's right.
Imagine like this: the fear creates monsters in our head, you know?
Mhm.
Then our belief system supports those monsters to keep on running, and awareness deletes it. When you become aware of what those little monsters are there in our head. Now,
Yes.
besides that part, is there any kind of specific exercise or specific approach that we did where like literally it was completely new and
Mm.
transformational for you?
Oh man, there's a lot. Like if we want to spill the secret sauce, we can we can spill the secret sauce. Um, the hypno, because I get a lot of people ask me this, right? Because I tell everybody that we've worked together, and people are very very fascinated by it, and they're like, "Oh, is it just hypnotherapy?" And I'm like, "Well, that's one tool that Bogdan could do. Sure, he can hypnotize you if you want to be hypnotized, and obviously there's so much more than that. I found the hypno therapy sessions very interesting, I must say, because you realize it's not what you see on the movies, so to speak. You know, clap
Yeah,
like a chicken. But the daily heart brain coherence, I find that extremely useful. And again, I think that's what helps me settle back into my baseline. Every time I do it, I just feel amazing. As you
yeah,
say, you do it before sleep, you have the most restful sleep ever. So heart brain coherence is certainly helpful because as you taught me, you have brain neurons in your heart, right?
yeah,
Which like I don't think anybody actually realizes that. So uh that's definitely a beneficial exercise. The fruba, is it fruba?
purba, the purba, yeah.
I'm gonna mess that up. That I found that one very helpful as well. Just deleting the belief and slashing it. Uh,
How about the day three when we kind of got rid? That was very funny for me when I recall
yeah.
when we deleted all the negative emotions from your past, from the moment you were born until today.
Mm.
Touch on that a little bit because that's kind of in our journey was a lot of joy for me to see you searching for emotions and you cannot find them.
Yeah.
What
That's
happened?
that one's very good because obviously we all of our beliefs and all of our emotions for human to understand it, we're putting it on a timeline, right? So essentially we're going into that timeline and observing the experience
Yeah,
and taking the lessons from it because it's there for a reason. Our
yeah,
subconscious mind has obviously put that in there not to mess us up or to put us into disarray. It puts it there to keep us safe, so to speak. So actually observing and understanding why it's there in the first place, but then going into it and not seeing the negativity is very profound. But it also gives us a way to now understand into the future and into the past. And it always gives me a way to go back if I need to and do it on my own. So that's like one of the biggest things I've learned from working with you too, Bogdan, is obviously you're a master. You've been doing it for a long time. But a lot of the things that you teach are given to the student to be able to keep the change and to
Yeah,
do things on their own.
for me, the most important thing is when a client comes to not need me anymore when we are done.
Yeah.
I'm not like other people out there that are creating monthly recurring revenue from their clients. So you need to become dependent on the coach or on the therapist or
Mm.
on your mentor or however you want to call them and what label do you want to put.
Yeah.
For me, it's just come solve the problems, equip you with tools that you can self-implement after that, and off you go. Right? If you want to stay around and hang out, and we have a little bit different approach from a mentorship side of you, that's also available, but it's not needed and it's not necessary. So
Right.
the job needs to be done, and so you're cool, and then we go. We did those, let's say, cleanse of the whole nervous system from a negative unwanted emotions, fears, angers, guilt, shame, and
Mm.
everything that we came there. How was your night after that?
The night after that was very it was I felt quite blanked out. Is the way I could explain it. I almost felt like I don't know how to. It's almost like you've been hit by lightning, and you're just like it feels sort of strange. I've spoken to some people, and they say they were throwing up afterwards, and because it's quite a purge and a cleanse of negativity. For me, it felt like where did everything go? And
Yeah.
then when the next session, I think on day 4, you sort of helped me understand that yes, that's happening for a reason. So let's add this in now, and it made it more complete by giving the new set of beliefs
Yeah.
rather than the negative bullshit.
Yeah. What would you say now about the people when they say healing takes time and it
Nah,
takes?
it doesn't. It can literally change in an instant, and
Yeah.
it's all. But
Exactly.
the problem is that and I see it all the time now. Like there's these people who, they maybe hear something from Tony Robbins or they read it in a book and they read at a conference or whatever it might be, and they'll sort of spurt out uh, recycled material that they've heard. We know how simple it is. It's all about changing our thinking, but most people don't understand why they think the thoughts that they think
Yeah.
because it's all at a subconscious level. So if they don't understand how to access the subconscious mind, which is, well, for somebody like myself before pre-transformation is very difficult, you're not actually in control of your thoughts. You're just going to be in the same repeated cycle whilst having a feeling
Funny
like you're
part
not.
is the funny part is most of the people are stuck simply because they come to the point of I know what I know, and they think they know it when in
Yeah.
fact they just know of it.
Right.
Here is the thing: they learn, they go to certain books, they maybe work with certain mentors, they watch, Tony Robbins, Joe Dispenza, and they watch everything that it comes about that, and they have insights, they have knowledge about it, they can debate on that subject, they can even teach that subject, right? It's all cool. However, knowing of it, like in their case, is completely different with knowing it.
Yes.
When you literally embody that knowledge to become unconscious competence, so you live that experience, not just talk about it. I have Here is the thing. uh, Someone will ask for help and they were going to come and say, oh, I struggle with this, I struggle with this, I struggle with this, I struggle with this. But I'm very big in NLP and I'm very big, I know all of that stuff. And I was like, okay, but if you already know this stuff, why haven't you changed?
That's right.
If you already know it, why haven't you changed? I don't want you to be my client if you don't have problems. Like I don't
That's
need
right.
to do anything. But if you're really big into it, like usually now, people with young entrepreneurs, they made some money, and ego is pumping their chest,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're going to be like, oh, I know this stuff. Like I already know this. Don't tell me the other thing. Like I already know this. No, you don't fucking know a shit.
Hmm.
You don't know a shit, because if you did know it, you wouldn't be here on this call now.
Mhm.
So sometimes even becoming humble and putting ourselves back into the learning curve in the place of just approaching things with I don't know what I don't know, we're going to make the journey way easier for anyone else. I had a
Definitely.
client literally 3 days ago. um, he owns an investment bank
Hmm.
and he earns 10 figures a year.
Yeah.
When it comes to it, literally 10 figures a year. And he didn't come with the ego of, oh, I know all of this. He have done self-help, he have done self-worth, he have done many coaching, he's in a very good position because he's done the work.
Yeah.
But he came with a humbleness in his eyes and his approach, because there were some problems that he couldn't change. I'm not going to
Mm.
disclose what is it, because
Yeah.
it's everything is under NDA, and confidentiality is something that is important for me.
Yeah.
But then he realized that it was way more simple than he thought it was. We
Mm.
just broke down that thought patterns. We just broke down to the simplicity of level so he can understand his knowledge even better. Few
Yeah.
different exercise into it, we go, right?
Yeah.
So now you've been through all of that. We broke everything down. How life changed? Now we finished like a month ago our coaching.
Yeah.
In 1 month, you had several business activities, life activities, business challenges, life challenges. What changed?
Well, now it's the biggest change, Bogdan, is when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. right? So I know that sounds very cliche, but it's almost like completely different. Like if I have this sort of view, and I'm sure you do as well, which is that you change your reality in a moment, except the evidence or the tangible things, the outcomes, the results may take a little bit of time to catch up, right?
Yeah,
So for me, rather than having the business be like, oh, we got all these difficult challenges and everything's so difficult. It's not like that. It's like, wow, let's get creative because there's so many cool things that we can build right now and so many different directions. Let's just get together and make some magic, which is the same situation, but it's a completely different view of it. And it's not positive thinking bullshit. It's not just like, oh, I have this going on. I'm going to be fine with that being the way it is. Not like that at all. But I'm
yeah,
viewing it differently because it actually puts me in a resourceful state to get the shit done and not have procrastination like I had before.
yeah,
So we're seeing that in real time. So we've got a big product launch that we're just literally launched yesterday. Um, so I can't say too much about that yet, Bogdan, simply because we just launched. But that's
yeah,
going to be very, very exciting. We just ran an event literally 2 weekends ago. That's why I have the jumper on here. So we had 150 salespeople in one room. Uh, I spoke at the start and did a bit of emceeing throughout because we had such amazing speakers. I wanted to have as much spotlight on them as possible.
yeah,
And mate, I felt completely different on stage than I did the year before. Year before, I'm looking at the ground, walking around, and my speech style is very slow. So I like to draw people in with my speech. And this time was very much the same speech, but you could feel the difference um, in the presence on the stage itself. So how has things changed for me? And then on a personal level too. I remember I rang you, Bogdan. I called you on WhatsApp or what have you done? You've broken all my limiting beliefs. I just went and signed up for a fucking boxing match. What have you done to me? So I've got a boxing match early next year on the way as well. So simply because it's something I want to do, I want to have some fun. It's a good reason to get back in the gym, dedicate, eat right, and why the hell not? What's there to be afraid of? I'm gonna go have some fun and do my best.
absolutely. Absolutely. What would you suggest or advise for people, especially entrepreneurs, and maybe everyone that is performance based, from your own personal experience? What would you suggest them or advise them to do if they
I
are facing certain challenging, like being blocked, stuck in place, procrastinating, self-sabotaging, not feeling energetic, feeling fatigue, they're burning out easily, which affects their business, affects their life, even though they do all the work of coping mechanisms. What would you suggest to them?
biggest thing you said prior, Bogdan, which is that they need to put their ego to the side because for me, guys, I messaged Bogdan over a year ago. It was in July 2024 when I first put my hand up. I think it was even earlier than that, maybe, when I first put my hand up, and I was too chicken to do something about my situation in that point in time. And I ended up coming back over 12 months later when I could have got it solved a whole lot sooner. Um, so what I would say is like for the people that are listening that might be going through challenges, especially as a high performer, as a entrepreneur, because entrepreneurship is not easy. It takes work. There's going to be lots of different obstacles for you to have to overcome. Don't do it alone. And especially if you're going against your own mind and you're having this resistance internally, that's like the worst possible way that you could do it. You want to be aligned with your heart and your mind to be on the same path. And I remember what you told me very early on, Bogdan, which is that the way I was operating from was running away from pain, which a lot of entrepreneurs do. A
Yeah.
lot of entrepreneurs love to run away from pain. They're like, oh, just fuck how you feel. It doesn't matter how you feel. You just got to get shit done. And like you said to me, if you operate from the place of running from fear, that's all you're ever going to look for. Is you're always going to be looking for running away from pain. You're always going to see pain. So you're always going to need pain in order to operate. And that's just like, who the fuck would want that?
It's not sustainable. It's
I
and
know.
definitely not natural for the body and the mind. It's not
No,
sustainable.
no, it's literally not. You're just always in a constant state of pain all the time. Like I don't know about you guys, but I didn't become an entrepreneur to live in pain. It's
Yeah.
like the literal exact opposite. You come into entrepreneurship because you want to build a pleasurable life for yourself and for the people you care about. Um, so like it's sort of funny because when people ask me what does Bogdan do, I literally say magician because it's the easiest way that I can explain it. But it really is as simple as it sounds, which might make people skeptical. I don't know, but I really don't know what else to say. You don't want to be dealing with the problems for longer than you need to. Why
Yeah.
suffer for longer than you need to? It's sort of what you said too, Bogdan, where um, most people are walking around. If someone was doing this to your head, you'd be like, that's really annoying. Like, stop hitting me on the head. But most people walk around and do this to themselves every freaking day.
And instead of stopping, they will ask me, "Can you put a cushion or a pillow here so it doesn't hurt that much?" Right? That's the analogy. They're here around, like that, and then they become aware. Oh, it's me, and they're like, "Oh, but like, can we put a pillow here somewhere so it doesn't hurt me that much?" I'm like, "Why don't you just stop it?
Yeah.
Why don't you just stop it?" Because at the end of the day, it's choice.
That's
It's
right.
choice. Yeah. Look, I always say like this. Uh, Simplicity sometimes scares off people because we are conditioned to think that life should be hard,
Yeah.
that love should be hard, that business should be hard. Now, I'm not saying, definitely not saying not putting the work in, not putting the efforts in, but while you're doing that, you can feel good.
Hmm.
You don't need to suffer, because there is two types of suffering, right? It's a mental suffering and a physical suffering. If you broke your arm, your leg, and you feel certain pain, most of the
Yeah.
time we are physically healthy, and it's just a mental suffer, psychological suffer that we put ourselves through, that literally affects all the areas in life, including your health, like
Yes.
including the health. And that's not natural.
No.
That's not what nature made us for.
Yeah.
So we are most of the time choosing to go through that suffer, and most of the time is very unconscious. Consciously, we are not choosing, but the unconscious mind, which is more than 95% of everything that you do, see, feel, everything, it's called unconscious because you are not conscious of, that's running on the background. And until
Yeah.
we kind of recode that unconscious mind, it will keep on showing the same patterns. You will have the same view of the world, the same view of life. You keep on seeing repeated patterns and repeating situations, and you can choose: do you want to be repeating good things in life, or you want to be repeating things that you don't like in life? It's up your
Exactly.
it's up
Yeah.
to your choice.
It's all based on the way they think. So if you can't get a grasp on the way that you think, which is at a subconscious level, that's what I mean. People are just going to be putting themselves through the same patterns and then call it destiny or fate at the end of the day,
Yeah.
when it never was. You've always had a choice.
Yeah, that's externalizing problems, just operating from a place of victimhood, let's say.
Yeah. The effect
giving
thinking.
giving excuses, the effect way of thinking, right?
Yeah.
Instead of we are in the cause, we are in the effect, because that we can distance ourselves from that situation and just put the finger towards something else: the
Yeah.
economy, the weather, the Mercury retrograde, the other people, everything else but not us, right? Everything
Yeah.
else but, oh, the stars are not aligned for me today, that's why I feel shit. Come on, give me a break.
And that's not like, and here's the thing too, Bogdan. I remember you saying something to me was which is like, at the end of the day, you're a fucking human, yeah. You're a human,
Yeah.
but you're in control of the way you feel based on the way you think. Like,
Yeah.
if something really bad happens to you, you're allowed to grieve.
Yeah.
You're allowed to have certain emotions when it's necessary. But to constantly walk around in a state of shame or guilt or anger, like these ones that we spoke about, Bogdan, which could be there, and who knows how it got there.
Yeah.
It could it could be there like from when you were a baby and you don't even remember why you were fearful, but you got scared and now you've got that
Well,
buried
I
in the nervous
understand.
system.
You're now there in Australia, and now if an alligator comes behind you, you better have fear. You better
Mm.
feel the fear, because you will need to get out from that crocodile, because it will chop off your both legs and your head off, right?
Yeah.
But most of the people see those crocodiles while they're in their cozy room under the
Mm.
blanket and scrolling on their phone. They experience the same fear, but there is no alligator. So
Mm.
there is a difference between rational fear, which is our protective mechanism, so it can protect us, for us to preserve the body and save ourselves, and not jump from a 25 floors building because we're not afraid. But irrational, unwarranted fear or anger or anything else is when you sit down in this present moment, nothing is happening.
Yeah,
Literally, nothing is happening, and you are shitting yourself, or you're just being angry just because you're too much in your head, right?
that's right.
So I would literally say to everyone that is watching, you were not designed to suffer. You were not designed to live in misery. And your outcomes in business, career, money, relationships, something that we have a goal and ambition towards, um, they can be achieved way easier and way faster when we operate from a place of resourcefulness. So instead
Mm.
of being frozen in our fears and anxieties, we can actually help ourselves to let go of that and reach intelligence to the fullest, and we can find solutions and find the routes towards there. Anyway, Riley, it was pleasure having you here. I don't want to keep everyone occupied. It went a
Likewise.
little bit longer than I planned, but I really
That's fine.
enjoy when I'm talking with you, and it gives me
I
a
love it,
lot
bro.
of pleasure, man.
It's always a fun time, man. No, I appreciate you and thank you for everything, Bogdan. Like, you've literally changed my life. So I can't thank you enough.
I'm helping myself while helping you as well. So thank you for being here, and we're gonna catch up soon.
100%. I'll see you soon, all right? Maybe at the we might have a little announcement for people at some point.
No, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be waiting. Cheers.